Hey everybody, my name's Trip Watson. I'm an entrepreneur attorney here in Birmingham, Alabama. Just going to be talking a little bit today about 6 different types of business entities. We're not going to go in depth. This is just going to be a quick overview. It's very important when you're starting up a business to think about what type of legal entity you're going to have on the front end. If you make the wrong decision, it can create some significant liabilities, so make sure that you've done your homework before you commit to a legal entity. As always, I recommend speaking to an attorney. Don't go to one of these online forum builders and just make a snap decision. It can cause significant problems on the back end. So just speak to an attorney. It's worth the time. So first things first, we're going to be talking about sole proprietorships, partnerships, limited partnerships, limited liability companies, LLCs, and we're also going to be talking about C Corps and S Corps. So first things first, a sole proprietorship is the default legal entity in basically every single state in the United States. What it means is that you do not have a legal entity. You are just conducting business and you're using a name or maybe a DBA. This means that you have unlimited liability if something goes wrong. Breach a contract, you get sued, they can come after your car, your house, anything. I do not recommend operating as a sole proprietorship. Even changing your name and doing business as a different name does not provide a legal protection if you're a sole proprietorship. The only reason I mention this is that about 99% of businesses operate as sole proprietorships. Take some steps to protect yourself and your personal assets by organizing or incorporating a legal entity. So next thing we're going to be talking about is partnerships. This is a close corollary to a sole proprietorship because it's basically the same thing. Now instead of there just being one owner, you now have multiple owners. The downside of a partnership is in states like Alabama that have joint and several liability, you are and can be found liable for the mistakes of your partners, even if you don't know about them. So you can end up going into business on a handshake agreement and end up losing your house or your car based upon what your partner has done. So be very careful when you're doing a partnership and make sure that you have some type of limitation of liability. In a limited partnership, this is also an unregistered partnership, but by contract, some of the partners have decided that they are only going to be limited in their liability up to their initial investment. They are not going to be what's called a general partner who has unlimited liability. Now, there are some types of limited partnerships, like a limited liability partnership, and sometimes even a limited liability limited partnership that provide even more protection, but these have to be registered, so they're not as similar to a limited partnership. Next, we're going to be talking about LLCs. Limited liability companies, LLCs, are a relatively new business entity, but they have all the benefits of a partnership with some of the responsibilities of a corporation. The benefit of an LLC is that you can form it and set it up and run it any way that you want. So you can have the members running it, you can set up a manager or a president to run it. There's a lot of flexibility. However, the biggest downside of an LLC is its flexibility. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a trap for the unwary. I even see other attorneys set up LLCs for their own practices that create significant issues if you don't hammer out specifically how the LLC is going to operate in the operating or LLC agreement. So just because you set up an LLC does not necessarily mean that you have 100% of the protection that you should. Finally, we're going to be talking about the 2 different types of corporations. Legally speaking, a corporation is a legal entity that's set up. It's the C Corp or an S Corp is simply how it's taxed. The benefit of a corporation is that we've got about 100 years of best business practices incorporated into our current corporate laws. This means that there are annual meetings, there are shareholder protections, there are minority protections, there's multiple levels of investment and responsibility that are formalized in the code. But this can also be a real big headache if it's just 1 or 2 owners, so it may not be the best scenario for you. By default, a corporation is taxed as a C corporation. That means that it's a separate legal entity for tax purposes. If the company earns a profit, then it must pay taxes on that profit, but if there are any expenses, then you can't write those off on your personal tax return. If you do want to do that, you can file for what's called an S corporation. Now, there's a lot more requirements in order to be eligible for an S corporation, but if you do apply and are eligible to file as an S corporation, you get pass-through tax treatment the same way that you would under a partnership or under a LLC, but there's actually some other benefits. The problem is it's just difficult to qualify as an S corporation. You can't have multiple classes of owners. You can't have over a certain number of investors. There's just some other requirements that come into it. So that's a very quick overview of sole proprietorships, partnerships, limited partnerships, LLCs, C Corps, and S Corps. Again, this is very, very brief. I cannot emphasize, spend 30 minutes with an attorney to figure out which might be the best option for you. And if we can help you out, please give us a call. My name is Tripp Watson. I'm a licensed attorney here in Birmingham, Alabama. You can give us a call at 205-545-7278, or you can check out our website at birminghambusinesslaw.com. Again, hope y'all have a great day, and to all the entrepreneurs out there, good luck to you.